including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Jobfather Nation, we are so excited to be back this wonderful Friday. And please don't forget, Joco Community Radio is a member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective proudly serving communities like Johnson and Tarrant County. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Check out our lineup and more at tuneinjoco.com. We thank our value partners in helping us amplify the voices of our communities. You heard the commercials. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd & Associates, attorney at law. Use code JOCO2024 for 25% off your first order. Team, we are honored to be here. Before we get started, we have announcements, we have a dad joke, and then we get to move into the actual meat and potatoes of the show. But let's bow our head for a quick word of prayer. Father God, thank you for the privilege to be on this show today, the privilege to reach the job seeker community, the privilege to learn and grow as we come together and inspire and help one another. I just pray you would open up amazing doors for every person in job transition or in the job search. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Foster, how's it going?
Hey, Carter and Dana and Mez. Good morning.
Good morning. So, quick question. With that being said, we can
Uh-huh.
start with the dad joke if you have a dad joke, and then we can move into
You
some
know,
announcements.
I'm a dad. I qualify. Okay, so did you guys hear on the news that the Energizer Bunny was arrested, I think 11 o'clock last night in Dallas. They found him in Dallas. He's been running.
No.
You didn't hear about that? He was arrested for battery.
Okay,
Okay.
Energizer Bunny, that
All
is
of our
too funny.
all of our listeners, you guys give me a rating on my dad joke. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't be asking for that. Hey, Sharon Adams, good morning. Gerard Robel out in Florida. We've got Sally Bennix that is with the
Yeah.
contingent of people out in Frankfurt, Germany. Good morning to the folks in Germany. And
Good morning.
I'm waving. I'm hoping you guys are on YouTube checking us out. And
Absolutely.
we always have our Mez that you guys can't see, who is running the leaderboard behind
Yep.
the scenes there. So we
We
couldn't do
love
this
her.
without our Mez. I see Dion Lawrence is with it. Hey, Dion, over there
Yeah.
in Grand Prairie, not Little Prairie, but Grand, big old Prairie,
And
and
we also got Gerard
living.
Roble, Foster.
I've already. He was the first one that I shouted out to.
Oh, I guess that
So
just slipped through.
Gerard,
My battery
we
went
love
dead.
you. We love you, man. So, guys, this show is here to give you guys good advice. We bring experts like Carter Garvin aboard so that we can talk about job search. Carter, Dana, and I are all talent acquisition executives, and we like to talk about things that we run into, like some of the bottlenecks that are in job search and things like that. And that's what we're going to be talking about. We have devoted this whole show today to talking about the things that we see and how do we navigate through those bottlenecks that we run into in
Yeah.
job search. So,
Yeah.
once again, guys, you guys have seen Carter Garvin, especially you guys that are involved in the physical Dallas part of the network, because he has been very, very active with us, and he's been on this show as a job seeker. Now, he's still a job seeker. We don't want to forget that. So, you companies that are listening, yes, you companies in Germany can hire Carter. You're just going to be one of those remote things. And so here we are. And, I want to bring up a scenario. And a lot of times I'm going to be just bringing the scenario up and listening to what Dana and Carter have to say about it. So we run into these things in the job search. And yesterday at South Lake Focus Group, I want you guys to know about southlakefocusgroup.com. Go check it out, because every Thursday we have hundreds, and I do mean hundreds of people that show up in person, and another probably 100 people that are on Zoom. We are a hybrid type of network meeting. So we've got both. We can see you, and we can see you on the screen on the Hollywood Squares thing, and we can shake your hand. So you guys come out, come out to South Lake if you're close enough, even if you're not. Polly Malloy and the folks that are up in Chicago. Polly has been down here a couple of times visiting so that she can get a physical visit with South Lake Focus Group. Guys, it is that powerful. I'm telling you guys this because we got folks all over the nation that are watching and listening to us right now. So, without
Yeah,
further
for
ado,
sure.
there is Carter Garvin down there. And we, Carter and Dana, sometimes when we're in job search, and Dana was just in job search not long ago. So a lot of this stuff will
About a
be
year
real
ago.
fresh in her brain. Sometimes you'll get a call from multiple companies. Usually that is agency related. A number of agencies will call you about the same job. So, should you go
Mhm.
with the company that first calls you, or what? How do you guys see that? How do you determine which company you're going to go? You're going to go with for that job?
Well, personally, I think that to a certain extent, ethically, it's good to go, first come, first serve. Just like when I work with multiple agencies and we get a duplicate candidate, I
Hmm.
always, regardless of if it's my preferred agency or not, I go with the first time stamped candidate that comes through. Now, that's my opinion. Of course, every job seeker has to make a decision for themselves. And honestly, Foster, there could be a lot of factors that change why maybe someone calls that you don't know, that you really
Uh
haven't
huh.
registered with, and then a familiar recruiter who you have been working with calls an
Ah,
hour after. Well, if you
okay.
haven't really registered with that other company and you don't know them
Now
that
we're getting
well,
there.
that would
Yeah.
justify going with another company. But if you have a couple of good companies you're working with and recruiters you're working with, in that
Hmm.
circumstance, I'd probably say first come, first serve. But there's so many surrounding details with it.
Yeah, there is. Carter's going to
I,
jump in
I
there
would
with an idea that we talked
I,
about yesterday, actually.
I I would say first things Foster. The answer is the one that's going to get you the job. That's the one that you want to go with.
Right.
But
That's right.
yeah, it's kind of like football. I don't care whether it's a running back, a quarterback, a wide receiver, a tight end, or an offensive lineman. Whoever gets that ball across the line is the one that you want to go with.
Uh huh.
Um,
Uh huh.
what I
Let's
will
dig in
say
on
though
that.
is,
Getting it across the line. Yeah.
yeah, what I will say though is, I preface everything with this. No company is ever going to hold you, the job seeker, responsible if you are presented by multiple agencies or multiple recruiters, right? It's like it's understandable, it happens, right? Um, but yeah, I'll just echo what Dana said. I mean, I agree. It's pretty much either whoever you go with, whoever is submitted you first,
Hmm.
or whoever you have the existing relationship with.
Yeah.
But what I will say
Ah.
also, as I'll predicate this with everything when it comes to working with an agency or a recruiter. No reputable agency or recruiter is ever going to charge you, the job seeker, to present you for a job.
Oh,
Ah.
never,
So no
never.
matter what
Exactly.
happens,
Yeah.
the minute somebody wants you to pay them to present you for a job, the answer is not just no, it's heck no, and you get out of
Yeah.
there.
I've never heard of a situation where a candidate should pay. It's always the company that
Oh,
pays
yeah,
for the hire.
Hmm.
it is
Hmm.
always the
Oh,
company,
there are
and
companies out there that
there's
will call you and say, "Hey, we're going to help you get a job, and it'll cost you this to do it."
Really? I've
yeah
never
there's
run
there's
Oh yeah.
across
Oh
that, but
yeah.
I don't doubt it.
We've got
there's a lot of
about
there's a
five
lot of
companies here in Dallas that do that, Dana.
Yeah.
and, and there's a lot of scams running right now on LinkedIn, and they'll
Oh
they'll
man.
they'll kind of lead you into, oh, and if you send us $50, we'll present you to these 100 companies or whatever. I mean, it's all just a bunch
Hmm.
of hooey.
Yeah.
Just a
It,
real
is
company,
really.
a real recruiter will never charge the candidate to present them for a job. It doesn't happen.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
true. So I'm
And
going to dig in even deeper than that. So,
okay.
guys, Dana, look at my face. What's my word? Look at me.
Relationship.
And Carter has already brought that word up. Now, guys, I will tell you one thing, and Sharon Adams has got a good point in the chat. She says tort law says that the one that got the candidate there first wins. That is true. But here's where Foster's comment comes in. Guys, if this client cannot convince you beyond the shadow of a doubt that they have a relationship with that company, they maybe worked with a
In that
company
candidate.
before, have a history, maybe they have 9 or 10 people that work already inside of that company. If that company is what we call phishing, PHISING, they're not going to be able to do the companies for the most part are not going to give them an opportunity to even work with them because you don't have a contract to do so. What they're trying to
Yeah.
do is bait the company by
Mhm.
submitting Dana's resume for this position because they know that Dana's a good fit for the position that they saw on a company website. And so they're going to bait that company and say, I know how I can get business with that company. If I send them Dana, they'll get all
Yeah.
excited about Dana, and then they will sign a contract with me in order to get Dana. Now, guys, if they don't have a relationship with the company, it ain't gonna work, y'all. So you definitely dig in if you have to. Most of the time, if a company has a relationship there with the company that they want to submit you to, you won't even have, you will know, they'll tell you about their relationship. But
Yeah.
that relationship word is very important. Uh-oh, I see Carter. I'm
Hey,
stirring him
so
up
so
down there.
no, okay. So Foster, you ever read highlights when you were a kid? You ever read Goofus and Gallant?
I remember that.
Yeah,
The
you
the
remember Goofus and
okay,
oh my God, nobody
Goofus and
remembers
Gallant.
Goofus and Gallant.
Well, I remember
Okay,
highlights, but I don't
Yes.
remember either.
so
Carter, I
I'm
didn't
gonna
know you were
tell
old
you,
enough to remember Goofus and Gallant.
I
Wow.
I didn't get this gray hair artificially. It came naturally.
I
Um,
understand.
the difference between a Goofus recruiter and a Gallant recruiter.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yes, let's
there's
go
things
there.
you can
Yeah.
tell as a job seeker. There's things you can do. One of those things is when you're talking to a recruiter, when you're talking to an agency.
Uh-huh.
One of the questions you ask them is, when is your standing conversation with the hiring manager?
Mm.
Because a Goofus recruiter is just going to
Uh-huh.
take your resume and chuck it to them in an email.
Yep.
A
Yes.
Gallant recruiter actually has a standing call. Maybe it's Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, whatever it is. And they're going to
Right.
present you in a conversation, because that's how a real recruiter, a Gallant recruiter, actually sells a candidate,
I
through
like
a
that.
regular conversation. And that regular conversation is how you build the relationship between the recruiter and the hiring manager, the hiring leader. And so
Yeah.
if you're dealing with a recruiter and they have a regular touch base set up with a leader, then you know
Uh-huh.
you're dealing with a recruiter that's got a good relationship. They're going to be able to present you accurately for the role. And you're dealing with
Uh-huh.
somebody who has a decent idea of what they're doing.
Yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to say this because what you said, ooh, I'm right on, right on. And for the candidate, just for the candidate to know, okay, this is kind of a caveat off of that tort law, first come, first serve. Listen, if you don't have a relationship and you didn't speak with that agency, if they're the first one that presents you, but they just found your resume online, that won't hold up
Uh-huh.
in the court of law. So you don't, as a candidate, we're flipping other side now. As a candidate, you don't have to worry about that. Because it's really who you gave permission to present you verbally that is truly the way to go. And another question you could ask,
Uh-huh.
in addition to when your standing meeting is, so how long have you been working and placing candidates with that company? And you can ask them that as well, just to see if they're like, oh, well, we haven't. This would be our first, or yeah, we've been working with them a while. But you can dig in and ask multiple questions to determine, are they just sending you
Yes.
over to get a contract? Because you don't want that to waste your time, right? Because if they don't have a
Yeah.
contract, there's a good chance they're not gonna the
Yeah,
company
it
won't
ain't gonna
pay
work.
you. That's right.
Hey, Dana, you can ask them for a reference.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Who have you
idea.
placed who have you placed with that company? Who could I talk to that has already been through the process with you, because I want to know that you're going to be able to present me
I
accurately. So who
love
can I
it.
talk to that
Yes.
you've already put in that company?
Yes.
And then you can determine whether or not they're valid.
Absolutely.
Yes. Sharon Adams says, and Sharon is a principal. She is very active in the network. She is a principal at Thomas Edwards Group. They are our number one, easily our number one company that has developed that relationship that Dana and I always talk about with the network. We know that we have exemplary candidates in the network, like the one you're looking at right now, Carter Garvin. Okay.
Amazing.
And she says that's why candidates shouldn't willy nilly just let companies just submit their resumes just willy nilly, without
That's
going through the proper channels and things like that. Carte blanche is the terminology she uses to send their resume anywhere. Don't just carte blanche and let a company just send your resume. And another comment, she said job seekers should tell the recruiter that they do not have permission to send my resume anywhere without letting me know first. We should have
Amen to
already had
that.
a discussion
Sure.
about that. Now, in that discussion that we're alluding to right now, should be with a lot of the big companies, should be a right to represent form, RTR form, FORM form. uh, you have agreed to allow that company to submit your resume for this particular position uh, only, not for the whole company, but this position that is spelled out. I am agreeing that Dana, you have the permission to submit my resume to IBM. I'm just using IBM as one of my old companies actually,
Yeah.
because there is a process a lot of times that the company uh, gatekeeper, which I used to be for IBM, for Citigroup, for especially Verizon here of late. Uh, Guys, hey, if I don't have a contract with you, I can't do business with you, you know. And if I have a contract with you, if you're submitting a candidate to me, prove to me that that candidate has agreed to allow you to do so. Now, what Sharon is talking about is absolutely true. If you have done those things that we're talking about right now, and your resume comes in from other companies, number one, you'll know that, hey, Foster gave Dana the permission to represent him, and if these other people are coming in after, hey, we've already gotten the resume from Dana. So Foster's
Exactly.
already in the system. He's the first one in. That's the one I'm going to take seriously. But Foster has to give Dana that permission to to submit that resume, because when you do that, that company will expect that you have had a conversation, an in-depth conversation about that particular opportunity and you're fit for that particular opportunity. I
Well,
see
and I
Dana
will
was
say
about to tell
this.
us something there.
Yeah, I will say that this is going to be for the right to represent probably more mid-level to executive level roles.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
yeah, I know we don't use right to represent when it's agency as much or like a entry level, but Foster, you're absolutely right. If it's like a mid-level salary up to an executive level role, especially when you start getting like to directors, vice presidents, executives,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, they should have a right to represent form because that's kind of a big deal and that can turn messy.
Hmm. A number of those candidates that Dana's talking about that get submitted to the company, because I've been in this gatekeeper role for years and years. Even those candidates that are not executive level, the company is going to have to spend anywhere from probably $10,000 to $20,000 fee to hire those people from those outside companies.
If
So
not more.
if you do not have a right to represent form, there are a lot of litigious situations with big companies, any company that's doing this stuff, because companies are so much money is involved in that. There's a lot of fighting, and I'll tell you what, if you get into an argument with Foster about,
Mhm,
hey, I sent Dana's resume in before this one, that one, and you're gonna
mhm.
accept Dana and hire Dana from another company, I'm gonna fight for my $20,000. Here's what's gonna happen. Foster is going to throw everything out. Okay, I like this Carter Garvin guy, but y'all are fighting over him, and I don't have time to fight. I don't have time to be litigious with you. Uh,
You said
and
litigious.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
and
Foster, I
and
know.
and away Carter's resume goes.
Well,
Yep.
Foster, I know you've seen this, and I've seen it dozens of times. Agency doesn't go through the proper channels. They don't talk to procurement. They don't talk to human
Hmm.
resources. They don't get their ducks in a row. They go right to some leader in finance, accounting, marketing, whatever, and they're sending people. And then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, I want to hire this person,"
Hmm.
and then you go back it.
Mhm.
Then they go back into the real process, and the real process is like, "Oh no, you don't have a signed contract to do this."
That's right.
And so that contract signing process, and again, this isn't a job seeker issue, this is an agency company issue, that can
Hmm.
take
Exactly.
90 days or more. It can take months to get that resolved.
It can
So when
take
you're
months.
talking to that agency, you ask them, do you have this contract set? Because if they
Hmm.
don't, even if they love you, it could take
Yeah.
months to get this worked out and resolved.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, you job seekers, it's good that you guys know these things because you can get excited. And I've seen a lot of you guys be a good fit for a job. And you get submitted in, and companies get to fighting over you because you didn't get this stuff done. And then you get tossed out because the company does not have time to go into this big legal battle to be able to hire you. I'm already, as a company, I'm already going to pay somebody $20,000 to hire you. I don't want to do that. But that's what I'm going to have to do. We're going to have to figure it out some sort of way. And it's easier for a company to just toss the person out and say, hey, let's start over.
It is. And it's not fair to the candidate, but it's a
It's not
reality.
fair.
And so it's just good to, ask a couple basic questions up front, like we
Hmm.
discussed earlier. And honestly, just get a good feel for the organization and how well they know the client. Most of the time, they're not going to give you the name of the client immediately just
Right.
because they don't want you going behind their back. But once you start interviewing, you'll get the name of the organization. But yeah,
Absolutely, you will.
really, I'm glad we are discussing this because it's just some basic principles of there's nothing wrong with going through third parties. There's nothing wrong with
Nothing at
using
all wrong with that.
recruiters,
Do it right.
Well,
but
It's
you
nothing
don't
wrong
have
with it.
to be a
I,
risk, right? You just
I've
have to
got
know
I've gotten through the
what
jobs
it
in my
is.
career through third parties. It happens. It's fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
A lot of
Yeah.
absolutely.
companies, guys, don't have their own recruiters, and they will,
Mm-mm.
as we use it in our terminology, farm it out.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds a little funky to me, but it's true because I will call a company that I have a relationship with or I know something about and say, hey, we've got this role and we want you to help us with this role. And that word relationship comes into effect. If I don't already have a relationship, I'm going to be trying to build one with Sharon Adams's company so that I'll feel comfortable about hiring somebody from Sharon because she already agrees to follow our protocol of
Right.
doing business here at Verizon. That was my last time that I was a gatekeeper, so I'll use Verizon. I am not, guys, currently, I am not the gatekeeper at Verizon anymore. That was years ago because I know a
Yeah.
lot of job seekers are desperate and you guys will hear only what you want to hear. So I want to be clear that I am not the gatekeeper at Verizon anymore. Actually, when I was there years ago, we set up a whole system that they discarded, did it another way. It was unsuccessful. And actually, they called me back at one time a couple of years ago. So
Yeah.
I love Verizon, guys. Go and check out and see what opportunities are at Verizon. Yes, I do have connections at Verizon, relationships at Verizon, and I will be more than glad to try to help you penetrate the Verizon umbrella if I can.
Well, and
That's what I do anyway. That's the Jobfather job.
of course, and that's
What?
what
One
you're
of
so
them.
good at. But to recap, because we're getting close, we're about 2 minutes off from the half of the show.
Yeah.
Just to really quickly recap, it's okay to use a third party. If a third party calls you, ask a couple questions to make sure they truly have a good relationship with the
Hmm.
client that they are representing. In addition, it is not abnormal for them to ask you if it's a middle level up to an executive level role to sign a permission to submit you or
That
right to
should
sell.
happen. Yeah.
And when you ask, you can also tell when you ask a lot of questions about the role, the more they know about the role, you can rest assured they really do have a relationship with the client and they met with the client to discuss the position. If they're not able to answer hardly any questions, it's a pretty big red flag. They don't know the client. And then on your
Hmm.
end, you have to make your best decision on which company to go with. I always recommend, kind of narrowing it down, like we discussed at the beginning of the show, based by people that the recruiters that you truly know and have a relationship and that you truly had a full conversation. The first company
Hmm.
that is a company you have a relationship with that had the first thorough positive conversation with you more than likely is going to be your best option to go with. If it's a company that
Hmm.
you don't even know that's trying to submit you, that won't hold up in the court of law.
That's true. That's
Yep.
true. I like that word you use, thorough. I like thoroughness. Job seekers, take your time to be thorough. Take your time to make the people that are representing you be thorough. And when we come back from commercial, I'm going to bring up another scenario that we're gonna tackle. I get it all the time. I appreciate you guys asking questions to help understand what the processes are and some things you can do to help yourself expedite your trip through that process. I hear music. Here we go, Dana. Guys, we're going to commercial. We'll see you when we get back. More
See you in
Carter
a minute.
Garvin.
Yeah.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Welcome back, Jobfather Nation. We are so excited to be here for the second half of the show. And just a reminder that Joco Community Radio is now a part of the EMG Podcast Collective. With that being said, please don't forget, EMG is a podcast and radio collective, and we're proudly serving communities like Johnson and Tarrant County. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Check out our lineup and more at tuneinjoco.com. You can also download the Joco Community Radio app on your smartphone. Well, Foster, I know we're getting into the second half of the show. Before we get to the dad jokes, let's make our announcements, because we didn't get that thrown in there the first half.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking about if you have any placements, if we have any jobs and upcoming career fairs, because I know we have a couple career fairs, and our buddy who is actively watching the show earlier, and let me see if I can scroll down to get it. There is a there is a job fair, just to let y'all know. I know Foster has one to announce as well, but
the Catalyst Career Fair group is having a job fair in Houston. They have job seeker, they have job fairs, diversity, smaller job fairs that you guys can actually get some traction from. all over the country: Chicago, Houston, LA, Dallas, Fort Worth, a
Yep.
lot of areas that our network is strong in. You will see these job fairs, guys, that are advertised by me and Dana and other people, and
Yep.
they are sponsored by the Catalyst Career Group.
Yep.
And I want to say something. I'm talking about Catalyst. Guys, NTX Radio, North Texas Radio is where we are now. We're a division of the EMG podcast collective that Dana was talking about.
Oh
But
yeah.
uh, I want to brand my friend Tiffany Hurd. You saw on the commercial a email that says t.hurd at ntxradio.com. Now, guys, Tiffany, if you have an idea, you will be surprised. If you want to brand yourself by having your own radio show, podcast, contact Tiffany, t.hurd at ntxradio.com. Tiffany is a wonderful Christian lady, and she will help you figure out where it is you're trying to do and come up with some ideas of what you can do to brand yourself. And here's the key part: you will be surprised at how affordable it is to do that. Now, Dana and I have been doing this 3+ years now. Golly, the time passes.
Yeah.
And before I was blessed to have Dana, I had Andy Cook, and we were doing it. We did it for probably 3+ years. So we've been around a while now, guys. With this time of investment in doing this, our network has grown tremendously. So we have got people that are listening to us in cars that are driving around the United States. But our podcast end is where we're able to directly interject with you guys if you have questions and things like that. We're always giving a shout out to people that we see because they're coming in on the chat, and you guys see some of them, not all, but some of them.
Yep.
The text that I get from a lot of you guys, I appreciate, and hopefully I'm answering your questions the right way. But I just wanted to say that before I go into our next joke. This
Well,
is a
Foster,
dad joke.
hold on, Foster, real quick.
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't
you
finish
got.
our
I'm going too fast. You got some stuff. I'm always
So,
moving
just
too
so y'all
fast.
know, the Catalyst Career Group does have a Dallas job fair this upcoming Tuesday, September 24th at 10
Ah,
a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And Gerard Roble is the one that let us know about this at the Radisson Hotel in North
uh-huh.
Dallas / Addison area. It's at 4960 Arapahoe Road, Addison, Texas, 75001. Again, the Radisson Hotel this upcoming Tuesday, 10 a.m., September 24th. In addition to that, I believe there's a Meet the Recruiter event coming up at the end of this
Oh
month
yeah.
with Foster and Craig Bohall. And I believe
On
that's
the
at Stonebriar Church, correct,
next
Foster?
Friday on the
Next
27th. That's
Friday.
right.
Okay. What time does it start?
It starts from 10 o'clock and goes until about 1:30.
Perfect.
Guys, we have a number of companies that come out that want to meet you guys that are looking for jobs. So you will see this posted all over LinkedIn. If you have a question about it, contact me, foster.williams at sbcglobal.net, or call me 214-728-6930. I'll be more than glad to tell you all about it, what it looks like. I'm one of the creators of the thing. So I will tell you all about it. We will have probably in excess of 300 job seekers that are there. You companies, basically, what I'm saying is, hey, I got 300 people in the room looking for a job. Where are y'all at? You know, I hire people. Where are you? It boils down to that, guys. So look on LinkedIn, guys. You will see a number of postings about this. And
Yes.
contact me if you want more details. I'll be glad to tell you about more details about the Catalyst Career Fairs and our upcoming Meet the Recruiter event.
Awesome.
Okay,
And
Dana,
that
do you
event is
have a
not.
job? Say
Yes,
again.
I was going to say that event is not a come and go event, Foster. They want to be there on
You want to be
Friday
there, not a come
10
and go.
o'clock,
That's right.
not noon, 10 o'clock.
That's right. If
Yeah.
you companies
Always
want to
Mhm.
be seen, it's not a come and go event. We will be there from 10 to about 1 o'clock. You guys need to be there from 9:30 to about 1 o'clock. We want
Yeah.
people to meet you. We want you to be able to represent who you are, what you do, and what companies you represent. I guarantee you, out of that event, you will probably hire someone, if not two, three, four someone's, according to what you're looking
Absolutely.
for. So that is that's the traction we have been getting at the Meet the Recruiter event. Dana, do you have any jobs that you want to share with us?
I would love to. So we have a brand new quality assurance specialist specifically with experience in healthcare revenue cycle management. So QA work within revenue cycle management in the healthcare space, or billing, working with
Uh huh.
insurance companies and patients. So it's really an exciting full-time opportunity here at our corporate headquarters in Dallas. In addition to that, please check out carislifesciences.com as well as galderma.com, both local to the Dallas Fort Worth area. And if you are in different states throughout the United States, Beacon Oral Specialists, if you go to our webpage, which is where the QA specialist is at, that's who I represent. I work for Beacon. I'm grateful to do so. We
Oh
have
yeah.
numerous openings for surgical assistants, front office, patient care coordinators, and surgeons across our practices in the United States. So if you take a look at the careers page on beaconoralspecialist.com, you'll see all of these roles and more. Thank you, Foster.
Absolutely. You are such an addition to this network, and we appreciate having you with us here on the radio show and all the things that you do helping people with resumes. Guys, if you need help with your resume, make sure you get in contact with Dana. She is an active recruiter right now, every day. So she'll be more than glad to help you with your resume.
Yeah,
Um, okay,
very important.
dad joke. Are you ready?
Yay.
All right. Check this out, guys. Now, this must have been in Alaska or maybe even Colorado or somewhere. So, a man walks into a bar with a bear, and the bartender's like, "Okay," and he says, "What's your story?" And the guy goes, "Bear with me."
Literally.
Foster, where do you get these lameness? Oh my God.
That is so Foster. I like that one.
I get more dad jokes because of this show. I love it, and I have to share
Oh,
it
but
with you
it's
guys.
great.
And make you laugh, make you roll your eyes in your head, make you send me a text and say, Foster, don't quit your day job. I get all kind of
Wow.
texts, Dana, after
That
the dad
is so
jokes.
funny. Are you serious?
Uh-huh. It's funny. I love it. I love this connection, guys. I love the network,
Yeah,
obviously. And Dana does too. And so I've got a
I love it.
situation I like to bring up. Another situation in job search. So
Situation.
Carter and Dana, we're worked with you guys, and we've interviewed for this particular job, and it's taking longer than what we anticipated. Especially, usually it takes longer than what we recruiters wanted to. It's taking longer for them to come to a conclusion as to who they're going to hire. How do I keep up with the process and know what to expect? Ooh, I got
That's a good
silence.
point.
Well, first
That's a
off,
really good
whatever your
point.
expectations are, lower them so that way you're constantly surprised. Um, and so it's funny. I actually had a conversation this morning with somebody in my network. She's out of Boston. We worked together in a prior world, and we're kind of talking about the current state of recruiting. Like, what are we seeing is the issue? She's out of talent acquisition as well.
Uh-huh.
And what we're seeing is this kind of trend line. We look at kind of who's currently working in TA and who's been laid off and who's been let go. And what we're seeing is a lot of the more experienced TA people are a lot of the ones that are out there looking. And because I think a lot of companies have done impacts, those impacts are revolving a lot around how much this person costs to keep on board. And so
That's
one thing
right.
you got to keep in mind when dealing with recruiters right now is chances are, and I'm not saying this is the case everywhere, but chances are the recruiter you're dealing with is going to be a couple things. One, they're going to be very overwhelmed. because most
Very.
recruiting functions, most TA functions are running so lean right now. Okay. Whereas a recruiter might be used to working maybe 20 positions at a time, maybe they're working 30 or 40 or 50 positions at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they may want to talk to you. They may have the best of intentions, but there's so many people that are clamoring for their attention that they just can't get to you. And so you got to keep that in
Mhm.
mind. Also, not every recruiter has the depth of experience to be able to handle the volume of people that are coming at them. And that's something else to keep in mind is you may be dealing with somebody that's maybe a little junior. And so, I would say first have a level of grace. Have a level of grace to to the people, right? Because that recruiter is burdened with a lot of stuff. They're definitely talking to a lot of different people. They're probably trying to get a hiring manager's attention, and that hiring manager is overburdened as well. And they may not be getting back to that recruiter in a timely fashion because that happens only on the days that end in Y, but it happens
Yeah.
regularly. And so I'd say first
Yeah.
thing is know that the process, no matter how good or bad your process is still governed by people. And
Yeah.
people
Right.
need time. And so whenever I tell people is, when you're talking to a recruiter, you want to understand the timetable. When can I expect to hear back from you? What do you expect is the time frame? And they'll give you, most of them will give you an idea. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. Great. What I always tell people is, okay, if they say it's going to be Tuesday, wait one day before you reach out to them. Just take a breath and give it a day. And honestly, more often than not, they'll get back to you within 24 hours of when they say they're going to get back to you.
Mhm.
But then when that day
Absolutely.
happens and the next day comes, just be respectful. Hey, just wanted to check in with you, see where we're at with the process. I'm still interested. I'd still love to talk to you in more detail. If you have any updates, please let me know. And then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to take a breath and let it go for a minute.
Absolutely. That's really good
Yep.
advice because you don't want to. It is good to be proactive, but don't mistake that with being high maintenance because it's an automatic turnoff and it can prevent agencies and internal recruitment teams with organizations from wanting to work with you if you're
Yeah.
coming across as high maintenance, bothering them, and that can also come across as desperate. And you're not
Yeah,
desperate. God is going to open the right door for you.
it's like dating. Okay, you don't want to call this person every day asking
That's
for a
right.
date.
That's
You've
right.
made your intentions known. You just have to take a breath and just let it sit for a while, right?
Yeah.
To your
Uh-huh.
point, Dana. Look, if it's going to work out, it's going to work out.
That's right. Now, guys, when
Uh,
you're in the interview process with these companies, are you asking them if you're excited? I have interviewed for positions that I thought I was excited about, but when I heard about the inner workings of the position and how the company operates, I'm like, oh no, this ain't for me. Then,
yeah.
and that's why I'm prefacing what I'm about to say with, if you are still excited about that position after you have interviewed for that position, guys, are you asking the hiring manager? Are you asking the recruiter when is a good time for me to get in contact with you to determine status, especially if they have told you that they got other people they want to interview? And a lot of times that's going to be the case. Sometimes guys ask for the job right then. They're ready to go because I want to get this job off my I want to get this hiring manager off my plate. That is a recruiter talking right there. But guys, are we asking the people that we're talking to about the process so that we will not feel as nearly intimidated to call them and say, hey, I'm just checking in on this position. If you told me when to call you, I'm not bugging you. You told me when to call you. So I just wanted to
Hmm.
bring that up. That's my little 2 cents.
Yeah. No, that
All
makes
right.
sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Scenario
good
number
stuff right there,
3.
Foster.
No, man. Yeah, I sound like a recruiter. I'm hanging out with Dana and Carter Garvin, so I'm hearing all this stuff.
Three,
So,
two, three.
guys, another thing that we run into in job search is we apply for multiple, a lot of times, make sure, and you will hear Carter, Dana, and I say, guys, make sure and double check everything that you're doing. Do not allow your emotions, which might be fear, to drive your action positions, because sometimes recruiters look like they are desperate, and you don't want to look like that. At a big old company like those Fortune 10 companies that I work for, a lot of times I will see a candidate applying for multiple positions. Now, if you're a project manager and we've got a few positions in project management I'm going to get real close to the screen, that you are qualified for, it makes sense for you to apply for a couple of positions that we have in project management. If you're applying for some position that's not in project management, and then I look on the applicant tracking system and see that you applied for some job in finance and accounting, you are looking a little desperate. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, does Carter know what he really wants to do? Yeah, I
Oh,
saw I saw his application, I saw his resume. Sir, he's a project manager, so I can understand the project management stuff. But why in the world are you trying to convince me that you're some salesperson or something somewhere else? What y'all think about that?
Legit. I think that's true. I think you gotta, make sure that whatever you're applying to, that your resume
Yeah.
is. Do you know this week? I just did research on this. I'm just gonna get on my soapbox, okay? So this week, I've been going through resumes for this QA specialist role, and I have very clearly put at the top
Dana,
RCM.
if you can get closer to the mic, we're having problems hearing you.
Okay, can you hear? I've got my headset. My mic's literally
That's a
right
little
above
bit
my
better. Yeah.
face.
Hmm.
Okay. So I am working on this QA specialist role, and I have very clearly put in the title and in the job description that they have to have healthcare revenue cycle management experience, or they won't really be
Okay.
able to do what we need them to
Okay.
do. And people are applying as quality assurance engineers, all of these roles that are like IT, banking, nothing to do with healthcare RCM. And if you don't know revenue cycle management, billing for healthcare companies, you're not going to be able to understand what you're doing, right? And so it's frustrating because I had 30 people apply and I had to disposition all but one and reject because they apparently didn't read the job description. They just flung their resume out there and applied to apply, or
Willy
they maybe
nilly.
read it, but they didn't update their resume to reflect their skills as it relates. And if you don't have a healthcare RCM anywhere in your resume, then you're not qualified. It's in there, it's in the requirements. So make sure that when you apply, you're not just splashing and spraying and praying. Pray, but don't
Yeah.
spray,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Pray, but don't spray. I love that.
well, and it's funny because Foster, yeah, I mean, we talk to a lot of people about what they're looking for, right?
Right.
And and I talk to a lot of people, and if there's anybody out there who needs some advice or guidance, wants to ask questions, y'all can reach out to me. I'll give you 30 minutes of my time. I'm good with that. But the first question
Uh-huh.
I always ask people, without question, is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right? Tell me what it is you want, not what you've done, not what your background is. What are you looking for? Because a
Right.
recruiter really only has, I mean, a recruiter is like a matchmaker, right? I mean, I'm just trying to match a candidate and a job, and I already know the job. I just need to find the candidate. But if the candidate comes to me and the candidate doesn't know what they want, then how am I supposed to match them up with the right thing?
That's a good
And
point.
so,
Ah.
as a job seeker, the first thing you should know, right, is what you're looking for, right, and how you relate to what you're looking for. And if you don't have the answer to that, then honestly, you're going to stumble around blind. Maybe you'll get there, maybe you won't, but it's just going to take way longer. And it's going to be way more difficult than it needs to be,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And good,
Yeah.
good advice.
Well,
I
guys,
can
we
tell
have
you
to
too.
be concise
You
and
mentioned
precise.
you mentioned desperation. I can tell you the three things any recruiter can smell on a candidate:
Uh,
desperation, anger, and depression.
oh
Yes.
my
And if
goodness, yes. And I can't hire
those are
none
the
of that.
three, nope, you ain't no job description in the world looking for somebody that's angry all the time. It just
No.
doesn't happen. You got to find a way to
No.
work through that before you talk to people. It is so critical. Those three
It is.
things.
Run those by me again, Carter. Guys,
Yep.
I want you to
A-
hear this. This is very important.
It it's anger. I was let go from my last job because I was set up. right? Or because they didn't like me, or because I don't, you got to get rid of the anger. You got to get
Yep.
rid of the desperation.
Terrible and rude.
Yep.
You you got to get rid of I will do anything, whatever you got, I'll take it. And you got to get rid of the depression. I'm no good. I'm not worth it.
There you
I
go.
know those are things job seekers struggle with. It's fair, but you cannot be in that place and present the best you when you're interviewing.
Uh-huh. 3 years ago, Dana and I addressed Frisco Connect. We had a bunch of people there, of course, about that very issue. I remember the conversation we had. We had a couple of questions about it. How do I know if I'm being, if I'm being desperate? How do I know if I'm looking desperate? And we answered it along those lines of what you're talking about, Carter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's
Now,
I like that if you look at it like you're dating. How are you acting when you're dating? Are you come
there it
across
is.
desperate when you're dating? Well, it's kind of the same way with interviewing. It's like a dating relationship. You're getting to know the person on the other end of the table to determine, do you want to work with them and should they want to work with you? But you just are as equally able to make a decision. So the ball's in both courts.
Hey, you can
You're
move
good
on if you don't
looking.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're good looking. You got a nice job, but you look desperate. I ain't gonna let Dana date you. That's supposed
That's
to be a
right.
joke,
You have to
y'all.
go through Foster to get to me.
Dana and I are brother and sister. Yeah, honestly, you gotta deal with when you're dealing with Dana and Mez. Foster's involved in the quotient. Okay,
There,
I've got another thing that I see job seekers doing at present, because what Carter, Dana, and I do is sit down and network with people, and we listen to you guys talk about what it is that you want to do. And before we run out of time, I want to get this question out, or this statement out, and hear you guys' opinion on it. We will sit and we will have a 5-minute period for you to sit at a table at South Lake Focus Group Frisco Connect and explain to people what you're looking for, just like what Carter was talking about. But here's what we end up doing a lot of times, guys. We want to sound smart, and we use all this corporate ease and all this stuff, and it sounds impressive. But at the end of your soliloquy about what it is you're looking to do, I'm still sitting there going, okay, you sounded good, but I don't know what in the heck you're talking about. Guys, break it down. And sometimes maybe you need to tell somebody what you do on a daily basis at your job. Make it clear what it is. Carter just said a while ago, if I don't know where you're going, I can't help you.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, what helps sometimes is take your job titles and run them through Google and see what comes back. See if that's what
Uh-huh.
people call whatever it is you want to do, right? I mean, because some
hmm
people may get in their mind that they want to do all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what the street. It's not what the marketplace once calls it. And so
Yeah.
understand what the marketplace calls what it is you want to do, and that's how you want to go about
I
Uh-huh.
like it. You were about to
Nancy
say the
Wall
street
out in
name.
Florida. Are you listening to what we talked about this yesterday, you and I? Guys, go check out Nancy Wall, WALL. She is in job search. She is a senior level learning and development executive. I had to do that, Nancy. I had to kind of do a commercial for you. I'm sorry, Dana. Keep going.
Oh no, I liked how he said was about to say street name versus the name of
Uh-huh.
the position. But yeah, I think this whole conversation around, hey, what is the best way to go about selling yourself? And it's being who you are, being confident in who you are. You're evaluating the position just as much as the company evaluating you. And if you need some support with interviewing, there are so many free tools out there that
The
many
pit
people
crew,
take
yeah.
advantage of, including the pit crew. Yeah, tell them about the pit crew, Foster.
Okay. Guys, we have a service called the Pit Crew. It's practice interview training. We have a practice interview team. We have selected a number of senior level executives like me, Dana, and Garvin Carter, and we'll sit down and do a practice interview with you and then tell you what it's all about, how you did. So contact me or Dana or Carter about that service if you want to try it out. We'll see you guys next Friday. We have a good time here talking about job search. I'm here to tell you. Thank you, Carter.
Thanks, Foster.
Bye.
Thanks, Dana. Take care.
Thanks, Carter.
drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I